Kia ora, good evening, welcome to South Today News. First up, there were so many students at this year's Southern Institute of Technology graduation that there were two ceremonies today. 380 graduating students, their family and friends filled the Civic Theatre twice over before parading through the city centre to the Tay Street campus. For the first time, SIT Commerce students graduated with a BCom, along with other students completing postgraduate, degree and diploma programs. Also a first for the Institute was the awarding of an honorary fellowship to Michael Skerritt, Kaumatua and Ngāi Tahu leader. Mr Skerritt was awarded the honour for his significant contribution to environmental management, tertiary education and community leadership in Murihiku, Southland. After almost a decade of musical collaboration, Invercargill singer-songwriting duo Into the East are vying for a prestigious TUI Award for being nominated for the Best Folk Album at January's 2014 Vodafone New Zealand Music Awards. Margot Sutherland caught up with the pair earlier today.
The duo, who have been playing together for 9 years, began busking in Invercargill's S Street, but a near miss with a vehicle left them seeking indoor venues. And that move indoors has led to the entirely self-produced album, Fight from the Inside.
We started off on Radio Southland, and a lot of the vocal tracks and all of our demos were recorded in one of the wee interview rooms there. And then we moved on to recording little bits. Graham recorded some of the bits in his living room. There was some guitar tracks in his hallway.
The music's a blend of smooth harmonies laden with quirky acoustic beats.
Essentially we are like folk and alt country mashed into one thing, but the things that we listen to as music is so widely varied that we can kind of pull things from all over the place and add weird sounds and play the stupidest things as percussion, and all sort of gets mangled up into the music, and that's kind of what we think what makes it a bit unique for us. Yeah, because we've got different pots and pans to other people in their kitchens.
Both parents, the pair keep life conventional, fitting in songwriting, production and gigs around their families.
We've got like 4 between us, and our partners work during the day, so they go off and do their jobs and we be stay-at-home parents, and then we get a chance when they're at home to sort of go off and do our work side of things, because it's music but it's a job, it's still a job for us.
It's a job that's led the talented duo to being nominated for a prestigious TUI Music Award, vying for the Best Folk Album at Vodafone New Zealand's Music Awards in January.
It's kind of like this nice sort of vindication, I suppose, of all the effort that we put in, and all the effort that our partners have put in, and by letting us go and build studios basically, and all the people that were on the album that put in so much of their time for basically nothing. Thank you.
If Into the East crack the competition, they're hopeful their southern location won't be a disadvantage.
Down here the hardest bit is not everybody, but people in general sort of go, well, you're a long way away, and it's hard to invest in you because it's lots of plane trips and your parents and all that sort of stuff, but really we're just musicians trying to do what every other musician's doing, and hopefully it'll open some doors for us. Winging
their way north for their performance at the awards ceremony comes at a cost.
There's not sort of a prize that comes with a nomination or a win for a TUI, so it's an amazing experience, but it is an experience with a hit to us.
Needing to raise just over $3,000 for flights and accommodation, they're hoping a fundraising gig next week will get them there.
It's not cheap, it's not at all. We've done everything on the cheap for the album, but as soon as it comes to something like this, that's when the money has to come from somewhere. So we are performing at First Church next Thursday night, so the 19th of December, and we want as many people to come as we can to celebrate with us this nomination for starters, and also to help us get there. We're taking our percussionist Dan Harrison and our bass player Asher Skerritt, taking them up with us as well. So 4 people to Auckland for 4 days is just a little bit hard to grasp by ourselves, so needing some help.
The pair say they've always hoped to be recognised for their efforts, and as the first Invercargill act to be nominated for a TUI, their future is looking bright. Margot Sutherland, South Today News.
And we wish the guys all the very best in January. Those thinking of driving with a hangover over the festive break may want to think again after the release of results of a study at the University of West of England. Scientists say that hungover drivers made significantly more mistakes in a 20-minute road simulation exercise. Chris Ilford, who led the study, says the hungover drivers' speed of reaction was slowed down and the way they drove was a lot more erratic. Mr. Ilford says it was as if they were their driving was the same as it would be if they'd been over the legal limit. These results are backed up by a similar Dutch survey. Time for some more Christmas messages. Today, Southern Institute of Technology Chief Executive Penny Simmons and MP for Invercargill, Eric Roy.
Hi, I'm Penny Simmons from the Southern Institute of Technology. On behalf of us all at SIT, I'd like to thank you for all your support in 2013. We wish you a very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great break with friends and family, and all the very best for 2014.
Well, Christmas is coming, so I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Take some time to remember the reason for the season, celebrate with family, have a holiday, be refreshed, and my very best wishes for 2014.
Stay with us after the break. Grey Power Southland President Jeff Pearcey and the week that was. And welcome back. The Crown has sold its share in Invercargill Airport Limited to Ngāi Tahu Interests. The government has sold its 2.82% share in the airport for $5,600 to 4 Papatipu Runanga of the Ngāi Tahu iwi. State-owned Enterprises Minister Tony Ryle says the government has never received a dividend from the investment in Invercargill Airport Limited. Invercargill City Council continues to hold 97.18% of the shares in the company. The Crown's shareholding in the company was subject to a deed of grant of rights of first refusal held by Te Runanga o Ngāi Tahu, which outlined a process to be followed in the event of the Crown deciding to sell its shares. Grey Power Southland Chair Jeff Pearcey says his organisation has had a good year locally. However, outside the region, the standard of care in rest homes has caused Grey Power some concerns. Mr Pearcey says also that Christmas can be a hard time on mature citizens with families living away. It's a good time, he says, for neighbours and friends to call and have a meal or a cup of tea and a chat.
It's been a good year. Membership has, slowly climbed. I think it's got to do with one or two issues. People haven't been happy, in my age group, at asset sales. That's one thing. And I think this new-found electricity business that Grey Power's behind has certainly boosted membership, because you've got to be a member of Grey Power to join that group, It's been good.
It does go up and down though, doesn't it, the membership, as issues come and go?
Yes, they do. At one stage when we were fighting the Jenny Shipley, Ruth Richardson business, where they wanted to bring the superannuation down to benefit level, we were up about 8,000 in Invercargill. In fact, we were the largest in New Zealand at one time. But the moment we did that and the superannuation accord was reached and they took off the surtax, then of course people would achieve the objective, and then of course membership falls off. But I think people, the ones who have stayed with Grey Power, we've had some huge benefits, and some of the ones we're getting at the moment are certainly, it doesn't so much matter down here because I think things are quite good, but rest home standards have been something that's been on a national level worrying Grey Power. We've got an ageing population and a lot more in care, and there just has to be more emphasis on that situation. We hear about child poverty, which is worrying, but the way older people are treated is also of concern, to us.
Let's think about Christmas, really. It's a time of family and friends and that sort of thing, but unfortunately some senior citizens, mature citizens, don't have that. It might be time to perhaps invite a neighbour over for a cup of tea or Christmas dinner. That's right.
Yes, I think so. And one of the things you've noticed in society is that churches are not nearly as full. And when people belong to churches, the church family included them. And I think some of that's been lost in society. But the City Council does have neighbourhood watch in a lot of areas, and I think that's one part of that people can keep an eye out. And yes, there are a lot of lonely people. You know, Christmas is not always a time of joy. Somebody may have lost their partner, their husband, whatever, and Christmas can be a sad time, particularly nowadays where families might be in London. You know, they could be all over the world, and so yes, you've lost that family a bit.
The tradition of capturing the childhood years in festive photos lives on, with youngsters lining up for photos with Santa in the south. But this year, a new photography scene's in town, one that's promoting the reason for the season, with a biblical nativity scene complete with gold, frankincense and myrrh. Mana Christian Bookshop in Invercargill is hosting the scene, a huge creative effort according to organiser Sharon Robbie, where several ideas were blended to reflect the real meaning of Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, Santa remains in hot demand, with children eager to be photographed with Father Christmas at his H&J Smith's Grotto and to make requests for personal deliveries on the 25th. Well, that's it from the news team for this week. Next is sport, but we'll leave you now with a week that was and another chance to listen to Into the East. Whatever you're up to this weekend, make sure you have a great one.
Where have we been all these years? Leather to road and the strain of our tears. Others are searched, no, none are found. We're coming down. How did we last for so long? Tumbled and shack on the wrong side of town. Not I lied. We were on fire. Eyes slightly closed, you turn into me. A trick of the light, deeper than shame. Are you pull me in? As little pieces of our galaxies collide, you pull me inside. To the road, you turn into me. A trick of the light, fleeting like shame. Oh, you pull me in. As little pieces of our galaxies collide, you pull me inside. We made our peace with the clay.